Hi everyone, this is Johan Söderström out of Implema and Implema Talks. This is the second conversation I'm having now with Lucas, a member of our roundtable, brings a lot of insights to different aspects of basically rolling out and implementing a VMS tool, in this case SAP Fieldglass. So Lucas, I'm really happy to have you on board and have this conversation like this. But for those people that are tuning in, so who am I talking to?
Thank you,
What's your
Johan.
business?
Well, my name is Lucas. I'm digital product area owner for indirect purchasing in the Volvo Group, which means that I am managing teams that handle SAP Fieldglass and SAP Ariba in the group.
Okay. So I think it's interesting also to kind of layer on that. It's so Volvo AB is one of those programs that are one of the bigger ones in Europe, and from the onset was very early on going global with that program. And I know you're doing very good in rolling that out, or you found your ways into a methodology, which I kind of would like to kind of pick apart just briefly in our conversation. So having that number of countries and continents and so on and go out to that you actually have and manage, what would be what's the magic in your methodology of rolling out? Where does what's important from your end?
Well, what I would say that is important is that just essentially you need to come with a plan, right? That's not going to sound news to anybody because anytime that you want to do anything, you need to come with a plan. But nowadays, at least from an IT perspective, there's always a lot of commentary around creating a project, right? Because the trend has been so for some years is for us to work more and more agile. But then you always have a situation where it's difficult to have the conversation about working agile with PIs and sprints with the members of the organization that will not work agile, right? Because this implementation of Fieldglass, for instance, it takes effort from finance, it takes effort from the HR people, it takes effort from the purchasing people. And don't mean the IT portion of those roles, I mean the business side. The business side that works with deadlines, work with dates, work with times, does not work with increments and development as you do on the IT side. So how is it that you bridge that gap, right?
Mm.
I would say one thing that for me was always key is to make sure that you understand who you were talking with, right?
Mm.
So you understand your audience, you understand the people that you need working, that you need to communicate with, and you're going to communicate in a way that makes sense for them.
Mm.
And when we approach them, yes, with the dates that they're used to. From our side, those dates will reflect our sprint planning and such. But more so than that, we offer them a logical point, logical plan. Essentially, what I have is a series of 6 steps where we start by essentially agreeing that we're going to do something. Then we agree on what is the concept. What we agree with the leadership that this project is something that we want to do. They understand enough of the application to be able to make a choice on whether or not we go forward.
Mm.
After that, we run a pre-study and evaluate feasibility of the items that we caught in the pre-study, and we also feed it back to our leadership, to our steering committee.
Mm.
After that, we go on to solve the requirements that we have gathered.
Mm.
Once we've solved, we go through something called a technical gate, which is essentially as explaining that now we understand not only what it is that we want to achieve, but how are we going to do it. And therefore, we could re-estimate the remaining time. Then we go on to finally to develop a test environment. After we have a test environment, it's developed and tested by the organization, we go into deployment.
Mm.
So it is just essentially a logical
Yeah.
flow in terms of what you should do when you're developing anything. What you do is that you convert that onto a timeline. And of
Mm.
course, there's more complexity to that, right? So we have requirements to pass every gate, we have activities over there, but it's just a thought exercise about, going in a logical flow.
Mm. Thank you very much for sharing that. One question that I do have, because I mean, I've been around a little bit for some time, and once you kind of call out the word pre-study, that seems to be a never-ending story, right?
Mhm.
Do you have like, for how long does that normal pre-study takes when you go into another? Can you give us like a steering on that?
Mhm.
Because I assume that that's kind of pocketed in or boxed in.
Mhm. So there are a couple of strategies that we use for the pre-study. I'm going to say that it takes anywhere between 2 and 5 weeks, depends on the complexity of the
Mm,
organization. And and I would say those are well invested weeks,
mm,
because if your pre-study fails, the rest of your project is going to fail, because it
mm.
could be that something was missed that was actually important, and then you're only going to learn after you have developed the whole thing, and then you need to
Yeah.
go back and understand it again. So yes, invest as much time as you need for that pre-study. The way that we are doing, I find quite interesting, because we went through the work of mapping what Fieldglass is for Volvo. So
Mm,
essentially, we have documented every workflow, every approval flow, every logic, every user role, and everything onto a massive document that we call our standard deliverable.
yeah.
That's our standard delivery. The question that we need to answer in the pre-study is, are we going to take the standard or do we need to deviate?
Mm. I'm
So
with you.
essentially what it is I'm not approaching my business with a question about what is it that you need to do to hire a consultant. No, I'm approaching them with a product and
Yeah.
evaluating feedback.
Yeah. Exactly. What with something tangible that you know that, okay, what are we doing with this project? How does it fit? So
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Mm.
So
And
Lucas, thank you very much. I'm sure that this will bring to some maybe even more questions, and then we are here to help out. But to some, it will bring some clarity that a pre-study can actually take 5 weeks. It doesn't have to take 12 months or 2 years. So
mm,
I'm really glad to have that insight like this from you. Thank you very much, Lucas, and look forward to next time we speak. So we'll talk later on. Thank you once again.
thank you, Johan. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.